in my view, what I want to do with my business is a lot less to do with expansion and more to do with raising the consciousness of the consumer about the value of the product, because then price becomes much less of an issue.
Right. And I actually want to chime in because I think this is a perfect time to speak on this. I was actually doing my due diligence and I saw something really interesting. Could you elaborate a little bit more about what do you mean by this out of the world bourbon that you guys are planning to age in space?
Yeah. So this is I would say it's a side project, but it's sort of taken over my life a little bit. Several years ago, Mike and I were on some road trip or another, either to South Carolina, Virginia, something like that, to sell liquor. Cause we were going up and down 85 constantly, to stores and doing in-store events and things like that as, we were in those markets. And we started talking about creating products that are truly different and really create an unbelievable experience for the owner. And at that time, there was a company called Jefferson's, and they were aging barrels on ships, right? So they would get a cargo ship, they'd fill containers with barrels, and then they would sail those barrels around, supposedly. I've heard from other people that the barrels didn't actually go anywhere. I don't know. I sound like some of those bad people. I didn't say it. Some people are saying. I'm just asking the question. Anyway, long story short, we said, what's the most extreme thing you could do? And that is, we're going to send barrels into orbit, and we're actually going to age them inside an orbiter. Wow. And, you know, we started talking about the actual practicality of this. Like, how do we get it to space? The big problem is, in fact, not getting it to space. That's getting something to orbit is a math problem. You got the money, they will send it to orbit for you. It's coming back. Because atmospheric reentry, there are not off-the-shelf solutions for that, except for the Russians and Chinese and the Dragon capsule. Pretty much all you got. For long-term orbital missions. And Dragon is really busy with NASA, and it costs a fortune because it has life support systems. And obviously nobody's doing space business with the Russian and Chinese right now. So what we did was sort of tabled the idea for a couple of, I would say, about a year and a half. We just sort of sat on it. And then COVID came in, and I had started to get interested in it again. And it just stuck with me. It was like, boy, if we could age bourbon in space, like, it would put our business on the map. Like, everyone in the world would know Mystic Bourbon.